So today I'm going to be attempting blue eye makeup in my navy Christmas drugstore tutorial. I don't know if I've said that right, that was a mouthful. Let's do this. So I'm just getting started by applying some of the L'Oreal Infallible 24 Hour Stay Fresh Foundation. And this is in the shade 120 Vanilla. So I'm just dotting a little bit of that on my face and then I'm blending it in with my Real Techniques blending sponge. This is quite a medium coverage foundation and I'm just using it to cover up any redness, which I have quite a lot of at the moment. I've not been eating too well and my skin is just really red kind of around my nose area and my cheeks, so foundation is definitely needed. No BB creams there. Next I'm going to be using my L'Oreal True Match Concealer and this is in the shade 2, which is Vanilla again. And I'm just applying a little bit of that underneath my eyes and just on kind of areas where I've got redness or scarring. No spots really, but just a lot of scarring. And again I'm using the Real Techniques blending sponge to blend that in. I love this little contraption so much. So my base is done and I think now it's time for us to get a little bit more up close and personal for the eye makeup. Prepare yourselves. So now that we are just a tad closer, I'm going to make a start on my eyes and I'm going to be using something that I meant to use for quite a while now, and it is the Maybelline The Nudes palette. I really like this palette. I actually use it quite a lot on a daily basis. It's just got the perfect amount of neutrals and they're not too cool toned but they're not too warm toned either, so I think that this is a really good one to suit everybody. Today I'm mainly going to be using this for its very, very light shades just because I really want to kind of brighten up the inner corners of my eyes. I'm taking these two colours here and I'm just basically going to mix them together. And that's because I quite like the frost that this very white one here has, but this shade up here has a slightly lilac pinky tint to it. Although it's very white, it's still kind of got a little bit of something there. It's kind of like an oyster pearly colour and I really like that for kind of highlighting the inner corners of my eyes. I'm just applying that to the inner corners of my eyes and kind of the first quarter of the eyelid. So I finished brightening up the inner corners of my eyes and I might go back in again later and brighten it up a bit more depending on how the look works out because it might need it a bit, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. And now comes the fun / terrifying part. I'm going to be using one of the Topshop smoke sticks and I feel like these are a kind of slightly newer addition to the Topshop beauty range, but you know, I love everything from Topshop, their stuff is just great. And this is a kind of navy metallic blue smoky stick, which is so gorgeous. I absolutely love the colour of this and it's very similar to one that Charlotte Tilbury does, and it's also very similar in its colour to the Tom Ford. They do their limited edition shadow duo pots and they are beautiful and it's very similar kind of finish and colouring to that, which is amazing because this is just so affordable. So I'm just applying this to the base of my lashes and it doesn't need to look overly neat, but it's good to be precise and make sure you're not putting eyeshadow where you don't want it. So now the product is on, I'm just going to blend everything in with my finger. And I'm leaving the inner corner of my eyelid just so that my eyes don't look too closed in and too small. And in addition to blending the product on my eyelid, I'm also just winging it out a little bit as well in the outer corners just to give my eyes a little bit more definition and shape and kind of elongation. And it's not completely done right now because I still need to highlight and do some additional concealing around the outer corners, but I'm actually really happy with this, so I'm going to move on to the other eye. And the reason I love shadow sticks like this is because you can wear it in a very subtle way, like I've just done on my left eye. Or is this my right eye to you? I don't know. So if you're kind of new to makeup or like me, you're a little bit terrified of using blue shadows, this is like the perfect thing to go for because you can do a light wash or you can go seriously smoky depending on how comfortable you feel. So I'm at a point where I am pretty happy with the eyes. The shadow stick isn't as easy to blend as some of the higher end versions I've used, but after a little bit more time in blending I am happy with the result. Now I'm just going to use the two highlighting shades I used earlier just to highlight again in the inner corners and kind of bring it out a little bit more so I can kind of blend the highlighting shades and the blue eyeshadow together. So I'm done with eyeshadow now, and before I move on to lashes, I'm just going to line my upper lash line ever so slightly with a little bit of the Topshop Magic liner, and this is just to kind of add a little kind of guide for me to put my false lashes on. It's not really because I'm doing a big winged line or anything. So So I've applied the glue to my false lashes, and whilst I'm waiting for them to dry, I'm just going to add some black kohl liner to the upper lash line and the bottom lash line of my eyes. I just want to make everything that little bit more smoky and defined, and I feel like this does that perfectly. And I'm using the L'Oreal Super Liner Gelmatic to apply this. So the glue on my lashes is now perfectly tacky, so I'm going to apply those. I just use my fingers because I find it even more fiddly to use tweezers, but if you need to use tweezers, then by all means do. Let's see if I can do this first time on camera like I did in my last tutorial, because that was a miracle. My lashes are now on. I think these are the Tanya Burr Date Night lashes or something like that. But next I'm going to apply some of the Maxfactor False Lash Effect Velvet Volume Mascara, which I love, and I think this one works really nicely with false lashes because it doesn't go too crispy and you can kind of layer it up a bit more. And I'm basically just doing that so that my real lashes and the fake lashes kind of merge together, and these false lashes are kind of almost spiky. They aren't very like fluttery, so I kind of feel like having the extra lashes on underneath will do so much good for them. Next I'm moving on to brows, which is nice and simple. It's my normal duo of the Soap & Glory Brow Archery Pencil in Hot Chocolate and the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper. So I'm not going for an overly heavy brow today just because the eyes are so dark, but I am still adding a lot of structure to the underside and the top side of the arch, and that is just so my brows almost frame the eye look. So that is it for brows. They're looking a little bit heavier than I would have liked, but I find sometimes with pencil you can just get a little bit too heavy-handed. But now I'm just going to be bronzing up my face because I feel like the blue eyeshadow and any kind of smoky eye really can really wash you out. So I'm going to be using the bronzer from my Tanya Burr Rosy Flush palette. I absolutely adore this bronzer. I cannot get enough of it. It's just the best thing ever. And I'm just taking that on a big fluffy brush and dusting that on my cheeks. And then I'm also taking it up through my temples, and I'm basically just kind of warming up my face with it and trying to make it look like I have a natural tan, when I don't anymore. It's gone. It left me in like September. And finally my nose, because I just can't not bronze my nose. It's weird without it. And now I'm also just highlighting a bit using the highlighter from the Tanya Burr Rosy Flush palette. I really like this highlighter because it's not too shimmery, it's not too in your face, and it's kind of perfect for a look like this because I don't want to go too full on the rest of my face when I've got so much going on the eyes. And to finish the whole look off, I'm going to be using a lipstick that I have been absolutely loving recently. It's kind of like my perfect nude, and it is the J.Lo's Nude lipstick from L'Oreal. This is just kind of like the perfect brownie, peachy, cool toned nude. It is really hard to describe, I just like it a lot. So that is it from me today. It's something a little bit different to what I would normally do, but I've actually quite enjoyed doing a smoky eye. I'd really love to do something a bit darker and maybe a bit more green. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And also, if you do recreate this look and wear it for any kind of party over the festive season, whether it's New Year's or Christmas or anything, even if you're watching this a year from now, tweet me a picture and let me know because I would love to see your recreations of this. And I will see you guys again very soon. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a very happy New Year, and yeah, bye.